He's an 8-time Louisiana Association of Broadcasters Award winner. And he snapped a ball through his legs.
Wait, why does your name get to go first?
Shut up.
This is Scone T.
Because they made us.
Bro, you are
John Jansen!
You are the big. You know who you are?
Yeah.
You know who you are?
Who?
You know who you are?
John Jansen?
No, I'm going to tell you who you are.
Bob Jansen?
You're the dork fan who goes to all the games with his face painted, holding the championship belt, who doesn't actually know shit about the team. You just want to get on TV. That's what
do you mean?
are.
John Jansen.
Star Wars,
Bob
you
Diaco.
got completely pimp slapped on Star Wars trivia
no.
by the GOAT Chuck P.
Okay.
Shout out to Chuck P.
Yeah, shout out Chuck P,
the real
absolutely.
GOAT.
Well, but
T-Bob, all T-Bob does is wave around fake lightsabers and dress up like he's Luke Skywalker.
Lightsaber, is that a YouTube thing?
Huh?
Hit your lightsaber? It sounded like you said lightsaber.
Lightsaber.
I kind of like that. Hit your lightsaber.
Lightsaber. And you know, plays around like he's this super Star Wars nerd when really he doesn't even know basic stuff that Chuck P knows.
Time out.
Chuck P's the GOAT at Star Wars.
First off,
you're a poser.
In case anybody missed this segment,
Everybody missed the segment. What are you talking about?
Your entire bit here makes it sound like I was like shitting on Chuck P. Literally, the first thing I said was, you should have called Chuck P.
I said he should have called Chuck
is
P.
the
And you're
true,
like, yeah. You
exactly.
agreed.
I agreed.
You
Chuck
agreed.
P is the lore master,
Yes.
dude. Any
Yes.
80s pop culture that you need to know.
Yes.
Wiggins, what is this?
Well, that's an old-fashioned.
Oh, yeah, that's what I'm saying. But anything like, normally you're like, it's an old-fashioned that
It's an old-fashioned.
crafted for 18 hours using
Bro, they're
Himalayan
old-fashions here.
snows.
They're old-fashions
okay,
here
so it's
really
a
are
classic
great.
old-fashioned.
No, it's got candied strawberries
See, look.
They're so good, dude.
It's got candied strawberries and what else?
instead of the cherries.
Cherries.
Bulletproof rye.
God damn, that's good, dude.
I
Cheers.
think Otter drank like 6 of those the night he came.
Makes sense.
Hey,
okay,
by
hold
the way,
on, hold
welcome in. We're at Oliver Twist. It's Scone T. I'm Matt. He's tons of fun. Who's not actually very good at Star Wars trivia.
Okay,
Who knew?
So again,
Who knew?
there's no excuse for not getting best spin, but
Yeah.
even though I guess it's a bit of an honor code thing because I could have looked it up, I did have a flash of insight on the drive over here when Chuck texted me that I needed to brush up my Star Wars knowledge, and best spin popped in my head. I called you immediately. I asked you, hey, it was best spin, right?
You asked me best spin.
So I didn't know it on the spot. Look, I don't care about not knowing the network thing because I'm not good with maybe as much like you can get real deep on trivia outside of the show. I feel like I'm pretty brushed up on the lore, so to not get best spin is pretty embarrassing. I'm not going to lie. But you know, I know. That's where class it is.
The long story short, for those that don't know, there was a
Mandalorian Season 3. I'm watching it right after this. I can't freaking wait.
Pluckers Trivia tonight was a Star Wars theme. I always, at the end of AFR on Trivia Night, lob 3 of the questions at Musso. He never gets any of them right. Today was Star Wars. He said, can I phone a friend? He called T-Bob, and T-Bob just completely you botched it.
I went 1 and 3. I got Tatooine. I mean, I'm not upset. I'm really not upset with not getting the Droids cartoon commercial because that's before my time.
There we go.
But and it's not in the lore. I mean, I should have had Bestman ready to go off the bat.
All right, so we got a lot to talk about tonight.
Now, when you started Lando, I thought you were going to ask me how Han Solo won the Millennium Falcon from Lando. Do you know how he did?
On a bet?
Yeah, in a card game.
A card game.
You actually see it in the movie Solo.
How about that? I got something.
Have you played the
right.
X-Wing miniatures game? Where you fly all the miniatures around? The pilot cards for Han and Lando are actually the same picture, but them on each side playing the card games. Very cool.
Okay, so I'm actually pretty jacked about our break-even pour. So if you're new, welcome in.
I haven't
Scone
eaten, so I'm
and
going to
Tea.
keep slamming these fried
Yeah, go
oysters.
ahead, man. So we're at Oliver Twist, Perkins Road in Baton Rouge. Awesome spot. We love coming here every Wednesday for Scone and Tea. You're always welcome to come join us live here on site. If you can't be on site, watch us. We appreciate that. And if you're listening on demand, we appreciate that as well. But if you come here live, they always do what they call a break-even pour. So they'll take a rare allocated whiskey and sell pours of it at their break-even price, where they're not making money. It's just their break-even price. So today is a Four Roses Barrel Select pick. So you've probably seen Four Roses single barrel on the shelves. This is not that. These are hand-picked recipes by the master distiller, and they're barrel-proof. So it's basically barrel strength. So it comes at, it's the proof that it comes out of the barrel. It's not cut at all.
Is that what barrel proof meant?
Yes,
I never knew that.
They never cut it down. It's just what it is proof when it comes
those
out.
truffle fried oysters are incredible.
They look great. I'm going to try one. Anyway, so there are different recipes, and if you ever look at the side of one of the barrel selects, you'll see the 4 letters. So this is OBSK. That designates one of the recipes. So there's like OESF, OESB. This is OBSK.
OBGYN.
Sort of those. Yes, like that. Anyway, I have never had OBSK, so I'm actually really excited to try this. And
I've never been to an OBGYN either.
Yep, they're $6 a pour tonight, and ooh, that's delicious. Okay.
That's some good head right there, Matt.
All right, so are we talking about...
It's a great head, Musso. Look at that.
Okay.
You want to come sniff it?
Darren Gagnon, what's going on? Thanks for watching. Aaron Hornsby, appreciate you for being there. Chris Keller, Lau Ploche, Trivia Carter, Chuck P's watching.
Shout out Chuck P.
Look at Chuck P.
Okay, this is so everybody needs to. If you are interested in nerdy stuff and you want to hear from the true lore master, listen to the We Have Spoken podcast. Chuck and Graham have been doing it for years. They know everything. They cover everything from Marvel, Star Wars. It's awesome. Listen to We Have Spoken.
Okay. All right. So LSU has they start today is Wednesday, the 1st of March. A week from tomorrow, LSU starts spring football, and now the staff is complete. John Jancic has been promoted.
Jancic!
From an analyst to the outside linebackers coach, and he will also have the role of special teams coordinator, replacing Brian Polian, who now moves into an off-field role. All right, you want to start? What's your thoughts?
How about this? Nathan Wedland says, "Hey, big love from the UK, guys. Hell yeah, Nathan. Hey,
we've gone international.
Cheers, bruv.
Cheers. Why do Americans use an English accent whenever we talk to English people?
Yeah, he's probably not even English. Well, won't stop us from having quite the night tonight here on Scone T. Cheers.
Did you just shoot that?
Yeah, I just shot that.
God,
I got too caught up in the UK thing we were doing.
You fucking Neanderthal.
I know.
What?
Tastes delicious.
This
Tastes
is a delicate
delicious.
flower.
I know,
It's a beautiful woman. You caress it. You
and
enjoy it.
I'm a bull in a china shop.
You experience it.
And just went in there with my sausage fingers
for your
and
wife.
Just
I feel so bad for your wife.
Crushed all the antiques on the wall. Hey, can I get this Hot Pocket? My bad. Oh, look at that. Nathan says, I'm due over for some NFL games, but yes, I am English. What an upset. Let's go, Nathan. Actual cheers, bruv.
All right.
Well,
all right, Jancic.
Begin the show. John Jancic. What do we think of him, Matt?
Do you want to go first?
Look, I'll say this. He has a great resume. In terms of, he's been at this for a while now, been D-coordinator a lot of major spots.
Yes.
So you're talking about getting a guy who's had very high positions now as a position coach, which you can always use a relative win. He's been at it for over 20 years. He obviously knows Brian Kelly very well. I mean, he played for him. He got his start as a GA at Grand Valley State in '91, and a system like Kelly's where alignment and understanding exactly what your role within the hierarchy is so important. I think familiarity probably look at Mike Bobo and Kirby Smart. Okay, everybody hires who they know, right? And football especially, it's just how it is. But if I wanted to justify that, I would say, he has a rapport there. He understands that if I need him to do this, that he can get it done, right? The only thing that gives me pause is when you look at it when LSU special teams have been at their best in, the last 15, 20 years, it's when you had a true, dedicated special teams coach. When, why am I blanking again? McGahee.
Greg McMahon? Oh, Thomas McGahee?
McGahee.
Yeah, T-Mac, yeah.
So T-Mac gets forgotten about a lot.
For sure.
He was a massive upgrade over the Pivito. And Pivito was awesome. I love Pivito. And he is kind of what maybe I think Jancic would want to be. He was pretty good at special teams kind of until it started to fall off at the end. But, he did a good job being a position coach and coaching special teams, right? But then you brought in Joe Robb, who kind of did the same, and he was all right. But then T-Mac came from the NFL. He was a true special teams guy. And I think that's when our special teams were best. When he was there in that 10 to 11 range, then he leaves. It becomes a weakness again. And then you bring in a guy who has just done special teams at a legendary level for a long time, Greg McMahon, and he turns a weakness, a big weakness, immediately overnight into massive strength. So, already we've seen when LSU special teams at their best, it's when they hired a guy who that's actually what he does. That's where Jancic is a bit surprising, is that he has no special teams titles on his resume. And you can tell me that, look, all coaches help out in special teams. And yes, there's an element of that is true. But, again, I'm not saying this is not going to work out, but it's not the same type of hire that were the two most successful special teams hires of recent memory. It's a great outside linebacker hire, and it could be a solid special teams hire. I don't know for sure yet.
I think that I think your skepticism is warranted. And I'm really surprised, honestly, because the one thing that went very, very badly for LSU last year was special teams. It was the one thing that was just like objectively very bad. I think the ESPN stat or the ESPN Power Index special teams rankings, efficiency rankings, LSU was 130 out of 131, like the second to worst in the country at special teams efficiency. So there's a lot of different ways you can quantify special teams, but like if you're trying to quantify efficiency of all of the units under special teams, that's a good way to put a metric on it. But and so if you're that bad, I don't know why Brian Kelly wouldn't then act to bring in someone who is a special teams guru to fix that. That's the thing where I'm like,
okay, so this is where it gets a bit interesting. And
I have another point, but go ahead.
Okay, sorry. Shea Dixon talked about that this morning with us, though, where the idea from what maybe he's hearing is almost for special teams to really be run and coached by the analysts during the week. And obviously with Jancic kind of running it, right? But that they would be doing the majority of the heavy lifting, and Jancic would kind of be that guy on game day that is the, I guess almost, I don't know, like maybe almost like an analyst.
Get ready,
like an analyst is like the general, and he's like the captain of the troops on the field, right? Like in the actual field of battle, he's doing the tactics, but maybe he's not doing the strategy. I don't know the truth of this, but Shea did reference, Matt, a rule change that I wasn't familiar with, where he was saying that analysts can now coach on the field during the week at practice, or at least a limited number of analysts can. And that's where Bob Diaco starts to make even more sense, on top of having a nice resume himself and having occupied some high spots to be very good looking. Bob Diaco can come in and maybe be at least play a big role in maybe forming those special teams.
So this is my other point. I love adding John Jancic. Jancic was here last year as an analyst. And he came from Georgia. He was on Georgia's staff as an analyst in 21 when they won the Natty. And then came over with Brian Kelly to LSU as an analyst. And there was, I would assume, like some agreement in place where he was eventually going to be an on-field coach. I mean, that makes the most sense. He left for a lateral move, right, where he was an analyst at Georgia and he leaves to be an analyst at LSU.
Yeah,
that
coming
doesn't
off
make
of
sense.
a Natty.
It doesn't make sense. So my belief would be there was an agreement eventually, an understanding he would be an on-field assistant, which now he is. And look, John Jancic's been a defensive coordinator at Colorado State and Cincinnati and Georgia and Tennessee. No, like I know it. I mean,
he was Butch Jones at Tennessee, right?
Tennessee, yes. He's been at Georgia. He's been at Colorado State, Cincinnati. He's been all over the place. So, like, he is a great coach. Like, I am pumped about John Jancic being a coach at LSU.
Yes, true.
Like, that part of it is...
Yeah, he was the D coordinator at Cincinnati when they won 10 games a bunch, and then that little 2010 to 2012 stretch.
So, like, great defensive mind. I am pumped about having him on staff. I actually look at... And then Bob Diaco, same thing. Like, Bob Diaco won the Broyles Award as the DC at Notre Dame under Brian Kelly. The year they won that they played for the Natty against Bama, the Manti Te'o defense, he was the defensive coordinator.
Is that what got him to UConn head coach?
And so, like, Brian Kelly, remember, had this like lineage of defensive coordinators that kept becoming head coaches.
Yeah.
The only one that he missed on was Brian Van Gordon, who he brought in from the Falcons. But like, it was Bob Diaco, Marcus Freeman, Mike Elko. I mean, he just kept hitting on these guys. So, like, that's whenever he hired Matt House, I was like, fuck, I trust Brian Kelly. Look at his history of hiring defensive coordinators. Like, he fucking nails it. So, anyway, I'm pumped about having Jancic. I'm pumped about having Bob Diaco. I actually look at it kind of like what Nick Saban has done at Alabama, where he keeps hoarding great coaches in lesser roles, almost like a primer to say, all right, when someone leaves, you're next up. You know, I mean, that's just like...
No, it's a good call.
It's like, look, dude,
I mean, look what Kirby just did with Bobo.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like Sark was an analyst at Alabama.
Yeah.
Todd Grantham last year was an analyst at Alabama. Like, he just stockpiles them, and then when a spot comes open, he promotes them. So I love that. I love that approach. My only concern is, like, functionally operating special teams, because you still don't have a special teams coordinator. I love having those two guys on staff, but I think you still have a very obvious role. Now, Diaco has been a special teams coordinator. Like, early in his career, before he became a defensive coordinator, he was a special teams coordinator at Virginia and, like, Central or, like, Western Michigan, Eastern Michigan, some shit like that, like some directional Michigan schools, and then at Virginia as well in the like 08 range.
Yeah, he was. He was.
Look at all the special teams roles.
Yeah, special teams, all of Western Illinois, Eastern Michigan, and then Virginia, like you said, for a few years.
Western Michigan.
Yeah.
See, like it was like 3 different places. Western Illinois.
So the point is Shay's point is that makes a lot of sense that he would be hired at the same time as well, and that he might have a bigger role. Like, he may not have the title, but he might have a bigger role than we realize.
Yeah, I mean,
in crafting the day-to-day operation and strategy and development and film watching and everything. Kobe has. And by the way, we have Tremaine watching from Maui. Shout out. We got Farmer family watching from Washington State. Hell yeah.
Shout out.
Kobe says, how difficult it is to coach special teams. That's interesting because it's hard. It's hard to answer, dude. Because I don't actually know what makes Thomas McGahee so great. I don't actually know what makes Greg McMahon so great. They just are.
So here's the thing that let me give you examples, okay? LSU's, can we agree that LSU's specialists this year, punt returners notwithstanding, but the specialists were good. Like, I don't think they fucked up a snap all year. Bramlett was your holder, who was really good. Bramlett was your punter, who was really good. And Damian Ramos became a very consistent kicker this year.
He was solid. I mean, on the college kicker spectrum, he is good. So your specialists were pretty good, yet special teams as a whole, we roundly agree, were awful, right? Yeah.
Well, why? Your coverage unit sucked. Your strategy a lot of times sucked. Setting up returns sucked. You didn't handle the ball. You probably had the wrong people in at times.
And your roster is still thin. Like, that's the other foundation of all of this, is that, like, with multiple great recruiting classes, a fully fleshed out roster, special teams automatically gets better. Like, just automatically.
I had Zach Von Rosenberg on the show on AFR today, and remember in 2017, Ed's first year, when he fired Pivoto, and then he didn't hire a special teams coordinator. So I wanted to have Zach give me a perspective of, like, what it was like not having a special teams coordinator. So I'll come back to that. But the example, so your specialists were good, but your units were not, because I think strategically you were not aligned. You were like,
that makes sense.
If you think of it like going into a battle, like you have a battle strategy. Here's an example.
That's actually kind of the metaphor we were stumbling upon earlier a bit, the battle strategy thing.
One of maybe the most infamous moments on special teams this year, the Malik Neighbors muffs against Florida State, the blocked extra point, obviously, against Florida State, which the blocks are completely alignment. That's you didn't coach your units.
Yes.
Like, you had Mason Taylor at the left end, which the kid had probably never played special teams in his life.
That was pure coaching. Somebody dropping a ball is a bit different. Yes.
But the other one I'll tell you was Jack Besh muffing the opening kickoff against Tennessee.
Yeah.
And you could say, well, that's Besh. And yes, catch the ball, okay? But if you watch that, Besh started on the far side. And right before kickoff, the coaches are screaming for Besh and whoever the other deep back was to switch. So Besh runs from the numbers to the other numbers, and then it's sky kicked and then up. So he probably ran 50 yards.
Yeah, and it bounced off his chest as he was sprinting
up, because you were not properly aligned for what Tennessee was about to do.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That's coaching. Like, should Besh have caught the ball? Absolutely. but the coaches didn't put him in a position
to succeed.
I agree with that. So, like, that's where I would go, what are you doing during the week if you don't know that Tennessee is going to take advantage of that spot right there? Or why are you leaving that vulnerability right there?
Well, so
like,
theory,
nobody noticed you had this vulnerability on your kickoff return?
So in this new setup, then, that would be, well, in the proposed setup that Shea is talking about. Nobody's saying this officially, by the way. And I don't want to misrepresent Shea, so if he tells you that I am telling it wrong, you know, go follow Shea on 3 and read his work and support his work and everything. But I guess in the strategy that we're talking about, Matt, like Diaco and some of the analysts would be along, and again, I'm not saying that Jancic's not involved, because of course he is, right? But it's just that in terms of workload and everything that you have to do, you can have Diaco and other analysts doing a lot of that strategy, right, and preparing the team strategically, and then when you get to actual game day tactics and making sure everybody's, lined up and the actual on the field checks are going correctly and everything, well, that's where Jancic could play that role. So it's not a bad setup in theory. It just remains to be seen whether it will work out. And after last year, there's validated cause for concern. It's not crazy to kind of ask these questions.
So 2 things that Von Rosenberg said that I thought were interesting. One, he said in 2017 when they didn't have a special teams coordinator, it felt like a game of telephone. Basically, you had McMahon, who was the analyst, telling whatever GA was running whatever meeting, if it was punt return, and there were different ones. So McMahon's telling all these different people what to tell the players about how to do, and then trying to go tell them, and then what if they don't coach it or explain it as well as McMahon or answer, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
so
100% game of telephone.
Game of telephone, and that was one deficiency. And he said, the other thing, though, to keep in mind, I thought this was really interesting, was the turnover. It's like, so they had this same voice forever, and then you have a different voice, and so there were obviously going to be an adjustment period. But his point to this year was you turned over 75% of your roster, so you had a lot of different players on the special teams units as well, and that probably caused some of the confusion. So his point, I'm simple.
That's a bit on what I'm getting to, though, when I'm talking about just the foundation, the fleshing out of the roster. Like, all of that is involved. Like, I didn't even really consider as much from that angle. You're right, just new faces, but also new faces, and then
I'm oversimplifying what he was saying, but in essence, because you're going to return a lot of guys that played on these units last year, they're going to be more comfortable with each other and what they're doing, even with a new voice. Was how he said it. So, and as we talked about, your specialists are still really good. Let me talk about this real quick.
And Zach would obviously have better insight than we would in that regard.
This is Southern Belle. It's a red wine. Oliver Twist they've redone their wine list.
Oh, okay.
And added some really new stuff. If you walk in there, you can look up there and you can see the red wine. And this is one that Wiggins wanted us to try. It's a product of Spain, so it's a Spanish wine, Southern Belle. I don't know a ton about it otherwise, but we're going to try it, and I'm really excited to do so. Just get back from Napa and trying some
good.
Some
how'd that go?
Oh, bro.
It was great?
Oh, I didn't want to come back.
Yeah.
Man.
We're gonna do a little Wine Valley trip one year. Me and my wife both love getting fucked up on wine, so I think that's going to be great for us.
It's just, well, the thing about going to wine country is, like, everything is locally sourced. Like, you don't see a Chili's or a McDonald's anywhere.
Very bespoke. Almost like time travel. You're going to like a small town.
Bro, there was literally, so we stayed in St. Helena. So if you know, so Napa Valley, for those who don't know, I won't get too bored. Like, it's a valley between two mountains.
Napa Valley.
It's a valley between two mountains.
Between two Napas.
And at the northern part of the valley is...
At the Napa part of the valley.
Is a town called St. Helena, which is where we stayed.
Yeah, St. Napa.
Not St. Napa. But there was literally... And, like, they have...
I'm going to wait on this.
They have a main street, which is, like, small town USA 1950s.
Ooh, I love that.
There's, like...
I love that, dude.
Every morning I would wake up and I would walk down Main Street from our hotel, and I would go to this place called the Model Bakery. It was just like the bakery.
So it is like time travel. It's like you're
it was
an
like
old
time travel. Yes.
Like a French,
Yes.
like you're in Bellstown from Beauty and the Beast,
Yes.
like an old provincial
There was the
town.
bookstore.
Oh, God.
There was the bakery.
God.
There was the police station, which, by the way,
Why doesn't he have any hair?
that's not what he said.
What? Yeah.
There goes the baker with his tray, like always. The same old bread and roast to sell.
Oh,
Every
look
morning,
at-
just the same, like the one that had became the poor provincial town. Good morning, Belle.
Good morning, Belle. Good to see
Bonjour.
you.
And then she drops the bonjour.
It's really
wait a minute.
quite odd.
You're in France. You're all speaking English, and then you drop a bonjour.
No, but that is the classic American cinematic thing is if you're foreign, you're English. Like
Yes,
ancient Romans,
yes.
they're all English.
English, yes.
Doesn't matter they spoke Latin, they're all English. You got your Cockneys, which are your poor Romans. You got your kind of highfalutin Roman accents. Yeah, all English.
They're all English. Russell Crowe and Gladiator. English.
Yes, Maximus Decimus Meridius.
An Australian man. An Australian man. English.
Yeah, hell yeah, dude. Wow, man, I'm impressed with your Beauty and the Beast.
Oh,
out
dude,
there,
I
bro.
love the old school Disney movies,
Beauty
man.
and the Beast incredible. Sleeping Beauty's incredible. Snow White still holds up 100 years later. Nearly, it is wild to me how much my daughters love Snow White. That is the first full-length animated movie that's ever been made, and they are obsessed with it. Still.
Yep.
I mean, there's a certain magic in those in some of those. Disney needs to do another hand-animated film. Princess and the Frog was last one, and it's underrated. It's better than people
You're
give it
talking
credit
about all
for.
because they've gone all the Pixar.
Yeah, well,
I agree.
like,
yes.
Pixar's its own thing, but Disney Animation,
Yeah.
then they own Pixar, but like Disney Animation's everything, and that's gone all. That's like your Frozens and Encantos, Coco.
Whenever
it's all
they,
beautiful, but
they-
I would love another hand-drawn one.
Disney had that great run where they went like Beauty and the Beast, Aladdin, Little Mermaid,
Oh, yeah,
Lion
Lion King,
King.
they were on fire.
Like that
That was
were
my childhood. They were on fire.
And then they just kind of went, well, let's do Pocahontas, and let's do Hercules, and let's just keep pumping them out.
Which
and
have high moments,
none of
but
them
they
really
don't
hit.
carry throughout.
They didn't hit.
Hercules especially has some of the highest highs musically and some of the most forgettable lows. And yeah, and I would probably put Mulan in that kind of mid category.
Mulan,
I think Princess and the Frog is actually above that category,
seen it.
even though people put it in there. Well, that's like a really new one. I hadn't seen it until I had a little girl either. But it's,
Jordan Haddad said the show needs a sommelier.
this is, what is this? Bride to Be?
No, it's called
Maiden's Journey?
Southern Belle.
Southern Belle.
Southern Belle. All right, if you're on YouTube, please smash that like button. Subscribe up to the channel if you haven't done so yet. Facebook, please like the 104.5 ESPN page and share this post.
Ooh, see, this is dangerous because that is just utterly drinkable.
Bro, one of the funniest
And I don't mean that in a. Maybe that sounds like a pejorative, but like I just mean like
it's not dry and bitter or rancid.
yeah, like
It's
you
just
could you could sit here and just drink the fuck out of this wine while hanging out with friends.
It has a velvet mouthfeel that almost tastes like it's way too easy to go down.
Yes,
That's the thing.
exactly. That's what I'm getting at.
Lyle Ploche said, "I love scone and tea, but I wish it was tea and scone."
I agree, Lyle.
I've been
pushing. Should be tea scone. First is best.
Tea scone, like T-Bob?
Yeah.
Tea scone?
Yeah, tea scone's actually kind of an awful name.
Yeah, that's terrible. Like scone and tea
actually,
does
scone and
sound
tea
better.
sounds good. There's a like a finality of and tea compared to and scone, which feels like it's kind of hanging. And tea is a hard consonant that I think really works.
And by the way,
Aladdin's great, by the way, Jesse. I agree. I think Sleeping Beauty's incredible. Sorry, continue.
you have to stop bitching about the open to this show because you recorded a part in the open to the show.
Yeah, I know.
You knew what the fucking open was. If you want to change it, change it. I don't care.
No,
but you can't bitch about it when you contributed to it.
Well, okay, hold on. First off, that was like a couple weeks bit. Was like bitching about the opening. But it was a bit shocking that I'd never heard the opening
That's
after
what I'm
like a year and a half of
talking
doing
about.
this show.
What are you talking about?
I just recorded like a because they made us. Because they made us.
No, you say
because they
you're like,
made us.
Why
does he get to go
Why
first?
does your name get to go first?
Why does he get to go first? Why do you get to go first?
Because it's the
Hey, why do you get to go first?
Because we hate each other. It's
Because
the bit.
they made us.
They're
See,
making,
this is how voice
they're
work works,
making
y'all.
they're making us do the show. Shut up.
there you go.
And
workshop it.
actually the card for the show, which is like the graphic, right? The whatever you want to call it, but it's called a card. But the card, we did not shoot this together. Do you recall? The Scone.
Yeah, that's a Jay Parker special right there, dude.
The Scone T card. We did not shoot this together.
No, shout out my guy Jay Parker.
I think we went to. I think it was Ashley who took the pictures of us, just like.
No, I remember. I was just sitting there like.
Yeah, we stood alone, and then she like spliced it together or whatever. So
you know, yeah, she did some basic Photoshop shit.
Yeah, I'm looking at you like, but you weren't even in the room.
No, it looks good though. It looks good. You know what?
Stop bitching about it.
You're right. That's a fun little nugget of trivia for all the real Scone T heads out there. Shout out, dude. If you're a Scone T head, shout out. Cheers.
Shout out.
This wine is, like I said,
out.
utterly drinkable. And I mean that in the best way.
Come to Oliver Twist and get this wine. And these are truffled oysters.
Yeah, and you know what?
New item.
I don't normally like truffle because I think it's too rich.
Those are really good.
And these are delicious. Obviously, you've been watching the show. You've been watching me smash them this entire fucking time.
Okay, we can get to other...
Oh, look, Joe D's watching from Bruley.
Hey,
shout out.
Joe D. What's going on? All right, so...
And if you put in Ask Scone T, I am going to log those questions. So,
all right, so do you want to talk LSU baseball, LSU basketball, Pelicans?
How about that game last night? I only got to catch inning 6 on. I was putting the kids to sleep. Shout out to everybody watching a little Call of Duty last night with the balls. Pra, pra, pra.
Bro, I had no idea that was a thing. So without giving it away, there is a channel that does a pirate stream that I had no idea existed until I was on a plane to Napa coming home on Saturday watching the LSU Iowa game. Like, I had no idea that stream existed until people started sending it. Yes.
The bottom header with the horns down, with a Cajun flicks, with a shout out for the Tiger Drop and Joe keyboard. There's a ball in there. There's a meme that I couldn't read what it said.
It's the Ram logo that says ball. Instead of RAM, it says BAW.
Yes.
That had me chuckling.
I agree, dude. That was like, it was such a fun little niche, little community in there last night too, in the chat and everything.
See,
it was really cool.
I wasn't on the chat. I had it cast on my TV, so I was just watching the game.
I said utterly drinkable, not utterly undrinkable Bojacks. No, I had it cast on the TV too, but at first I was kind of on my phone hanging out, and there were a few thousand people in there.
Oh, really?
But yeah. There's 3.5, I think.
Oh, wow.
When I was watching.
Wow.
Everybody chatting it up. It was really good. Screw the Longhorn Network for being unavailable. I pay for so much shit, and I didn't have the Longhorn Network. So, they're folding that into the SEC, right?
They have to. We were talking about that before.
I'm pretty sure they actually came out with that news.
There is someone asked if the Longhorn Network was going under, and it's fine if it doesn't. I really don't care. There just has to be a revenue share. The Longhorn Network, Texas can't. It can't keep 100% of the revenue from the Longhorn Network like they do currently in the Big 12. Like, that's fine if you want to do that because you have the Big 12 by the balls.
Do? They get one home.
Yes, there's no rev share on the whole.
Okay, Texas A&M Chris Del Conte confirms Longhorn Network will end with SEC move compared to the History Channel. Says that's a good thing.
All right, so Longhorn Network goes away.
So
which seriously, there was no way the other schools in the league were going to allow that either to exist or exist without a revenue share.
Hell no.
And I don't know that the Longhorn Network has actually made money.
I do feel like they will. I feel like they're just going to fold a lot of that talent, production, and studios just into the SEC, right? Wouldn't you?
What do you mean?
Like, if you ran the SEC network, wouldn't you seek some sort of takeover or merger? Like, they have great studios. They have great people working.
Well, those studios,
you don't want to fire everyone.
No, those studios, well, several things can happen. One, that's the studios they have could become a secondary campus, a satellite campus of the SEC network, which is a possibility.
That's what I'm thinking.
Just like ESPN.
You got East-West.
Like ESPNU was in Charlotte, and that's where SEC Network is now, and it's probably some of the same studios, I would assume. But anyway, when the SEC Network launched in 2014, I don't know if everybody knows this, and this may be boring, so forgive me if it is and you don't care about this, but when the SEC Network launched in 2014, please do. Every SEC campus was mandated by the league and ESPN as part of that launch to make a one-time gigantic capital investment into elevating all of their facilities into broadcast quality facilities. So that way you could originate programming from any campus. That's how,
there's a little room on LSU where they feed directly back to Charlotte.
Yes. So, for example, if because everything's televised now. Like the gym meets, for example. Every gym meet is televised and streamed. Well, ESPN wasn't going to incur the cost of sending crews and sat trucks and everything to do a gym meet. So everybody in the league had to elevate their broadcast.
Oh, thank God,
production.
dude. And it meant that we get Lynn Rollins. I fucking love Lynn Rollins, dude. And Lynn Rollins becomes such a big time. There is not, Matt, I'm not exaggerating when I say this. I'm not exaggerating.
Okay.
In all of sports, NFL, NBA, NBA's tough because I love Antonio Daniels and Joel Myers. But I don't think there's a duo that I love more than Lynn Rollins and Ben McDonald.
Okay.
I love those motherfuckers. I could listen to Ben break down baseball all day long.
Ben's fantastic.
And I could pucker up and kiss Lynn Rollins on the mouth all night long, dude. Pucker up and kiss that baby goodbye. God, I love Lynn. I also found myself watching gymnastics on Friday quite a bit.
Gymnastics is phenomenal. I love gymnastics. So my nieces do gym, so that was kind of our family's introduction into gym culture, and because they love watching the LSU meets, so we would family would end up watching it. They're so it moves fast, right?
Yes, exactly.
Hour and a half, maybe 2 hours. You're done. It's high energy. It's
huge stakes. You can appreciate the stakes even if I don't know the
You don't know how scoring is and everything like that. But
I'm ooh, that score was higher than that score. Oh, look at that.
And you can appreciate the athleticism, which
fuck yeah.
The things they do are incredible.
It's why it's so brutal that KJ Johnson breaks her foot celebrating stepping off the mat. It's I just did a triple full where I did 3 spins and 2 backflips in the air and landed it perfectly, and then I step off the mat and break my foot.
I think KJ Johnson might be a defensive back for LSU football.
Hold on, dude.
I think you're looking for Kaya Johnson. Yeah? No?
Let's see. It could be Kaya.
Is KJ Johnson?
It is KJ. Yeah, it is KJ. I'm not crazy.
But there's Kaya.
You think I was crazy? Kaya's one as well.
KJ Johnson is the one who has metal rods in her legs. She wears the compression sleeves.
Yeah, and there's Kaya.
Yeah.
Either way, the thing that sucks is that KJ killed it against Florida when they
did she get hurt? I watched the Florida meet.
I know, and she
got hurt against
balled
Bama?
out. No, against Florida as she was stepping off the mat. They didn't know at the time.
Oh.
It came out as she was stepping off the mat.
Oh,
so think about this. LSU had 3 major celebration injuries in 1 year. You had Beloso.
Smith. Okay. Yeah.
You had Mason Smith, and now you had KJ Johnson, all getting hurt celebrating after they did something great. Or at least Cade after he was getting everybody fired up.
KJ Johnson, I love her attitude, bro. She's got arm tats, and she's got she's got metal rods in her legs from the knees down. That's why she wears the compression sleeves.
Iron Man, let's go,
bro. What a gangster.
Or more like Wolverine, like adamantium. I've got a little bit of adamantium in my ankle. I always thought, what if you get elective surgery and get metal plates put on your forearms, so you just just fuck people up with your forearms all the time. Boom.
Kevin Rosselot said, now we're back to, do we get Steve Walsh or Aaron Brooks? It kind of feels like that.
What are you talking about, boys? We got Derek Carr coming at 25 to 30 mil. He ain't getting 35. Let's go, dude. I'll take Carr at 25-30. Easily I'll take Carr at 25-30, and I'll be happy about it. And draft Hendon Hooker.
If you pay Derek Carr, you're not drafting Hendon Hooker. I think that's the problem.
I go 3 years, 25-30. Get ready to cut Carr.
They're not doing it.
Cam Jordan said they should.
All right, let me ask you a question. If you could sign Derek Carr to a 3-year, $75 million deal, 25 per.
Okay, yeah.
But you don't get Hendon Hooker.
How much guaranteed? Because that matters, because
50.
I want to be able to cut Derek Carr year 3 if I want.
You can't.
What?
You can't.
What? I can.
You cannot.
What?
Play my hypothetical, bitch.
Okay, that's what I'm asking.
All right.
But now I'm like Mickey Lewis.
You're on the hook.
Okay.
All right, you're on the hook for him. But in that scenario, you do not draft Hendon Hooker. You have Derek Carr. Or
thank you, Matt.
You have thank you, Wiggins. Thank you, Wiggins.
Oh, thank you, Wiggins.
Oh, thank you, Wiggins.
Hello. Hey, good show, chap. Excellent show. Cheers. Okay,
Wiggins.
now what were you saying about Derek Carr? I found it to be rather pedantic. I'm interested to see where you take it. You had something 3 years, $75 million, fully guaranteed. Can't get off the hook, so why can I not draft Hendon Hooker?
Have that merely on my couch cushions. So anyway, the or your other option is you sign a stopgap. Andy Dalton, Baker Mayfield, Jameis. Cut Jameis, resign. Like, they're not going to do that, I know. But you have a stopgap.
I hate Dennis Allen for
yes,
the
I hate
Jameis stuff more than anything.
I hate him
because
too.
I love Jameis Winston.
Me too.
And you can say it's irrational. I don't give a fuck. I do.
We agree on this. We do agree on this. Like, I can't tell you. I wouldn't like plant my flag in the Jameis is going to be an awesome player and a all pro. But like, Jameis was a better option than Andy Dalton.
So much.
Like,
and
the guy,
I hate
the guy had a broken back.
So
like
the problem with
broken back.
the fucked up part about Andy Dalton is that he put together a season that is one of the biggest statistical frauds that I've ever witnessed in my entire life, because he graded out incredibly. He had a high completion percentage. Like he's like a top 5 quarterback according to PFF grades.
Yeah, fuck
from
PFF.
last year. No, I know. What I'm saying is, in statistics, there can be outliers, right? And Andy Dalton did the weird thing where he was an efficient, mistake-free quarterback, which led him to scoring high in QB rating, QBR, PFF grades, but he was in no way threatening, which is why you scored 18 points a game, couldn't close out games, and couldn't win games in the fourth. You have to be willing to engage in risk. Andy Dalton was the safest and most unexciting and least threatening play. Like, you're getting an annual, 1% return on Andy Dalton, okay? If you want to make money, you got to engage in a little more risk.
Okay, so your options are Derek Carr, 3 years, $75 million, all guaranteed. You're on the hook for him financially. Or you have the stopgap, cheap, $4 million or less, and you draft Hendon Hooker.
What round am I drafting Hooker in? 29 or 41 or what?
It's irrelevant. I looked at the numbers today. The
extra year.
The
is all
extra
I'm
year,
concerned about.
but the extra year, you would have to pay him a massive number for the extra year for the 5th-year option, and he'd be 30 years old by then. So you would love for the extra year to matter. I'll put it to you that way. I don't know if it will, but either way, by year 5, if he hits, you're fucking signing him anyway to a new deal. So, and the 4 years,
I don't think I can sign Carr to a deal where I can't get out of it by year 3. I can't commit to Carr for more than 2 years. So that's my answer in your hypothetical. I can't commit to Carr for more than 2 years. It's too risky.
And even if you commit to Derek Carr for 2 years, what do you do after 2 years?
Well, I think you try to draft, I think you try to figure things out.
But
and
the problem is, you are still going to be in the same quarterback-deprived situation.
But everybody
that you're in
is.
right now.
But everybody is. There's no solution. What's your solution?
The solution is you draft a quarterback.
Yeah, I know, but they could suck.
They could.
Yeah.
But then the option is you stay in this perpetual 6, 7, 8 win bullshit.
Sorry, but if I can get Derek Carr for 2 years, I'll draft Hendon Hooker. I'll draft the quarterback. If I can get that deal.
I'm not. Like, Derek Carr isn't winning anything. Derek Carr is just keeping you good enough to not be awful.
Yeah, exactly, but I like that.
I understand, but I would rather.
I don't want to be 4-13.
I would rather.
I hate 17-game math.
I would rather go the route that the Colts went the year Peyton had the neck injury, and you're starting Jim fucking Sorgi. You bottom out and you get Andrew Luck. But then
what if you get Zach Wilson?
What if maybe you do get Zach Wilson, or maybe you get Andrew Luck,
and then you had a shitty year where everybody's like, same old fucking Saints can't win post Peyton. Mickey Loomis fucking sucks.
I don't care what people say.
Fucking sucks. Everybody fucking sucks, and now we got Zach fucking Wilson.
Or maybe you get Andrew Luck.
Maybe.
Or maybe you get Josh Allen.
Exactly.
Or maybe you get Patrick Mahomes.
So that's why Carr to me is attractive, because he keeps you.
But Carr's not going to. What's your goal? Is your goal to win games, or is your goal to win championships?
To win games. Leading into championships.
See, that's where I disagree. I want to win championships. Winning games, fuck that.
So I think this conversation
is a little.
Then
you know where you're capping out? You're the Bengals with Andy Dalton.
I think this conversation's a little disingenuous, though, because the Bengals kept believing that they were going to get better and go get better and get deep enough to mix it in the playoffs. And
did you ever in 10 years, 9 years that Andy Dalton was in Cincinnati think they were a legitimate Super Bowl contending team?
I mean, yeah, bro, they made the playoffs like 7 or 8 years in a row. They were definitely, if you're making the playoffs, yeah, you're in it.
They didn't make it 7 or 8 years in a row.
Yeah, they made it 7 years in a row. They absolutely made it 7 years in a row with Andy Dalton. So, no, but I believe in like a winning culture. I don't think you can just turn it around.
And he never won a playoff game.
I know, which is why eventually it came to an end. Like, that's a bit of an outlier because it's tough to go to 7 playoffs in a row and not win a playoff
Unless you're
game.
Andy Dalton, you suck.
Bro, fuck Andy Dalton. He's a good guy. I don't mean that. I mean, like, fuck having Andy Dalton as a quarterback that you have to cheer for every Sunday. It's not a good feeling. Like,
I'm with you. I don't want Andy Dalton.
I don't want Andy Dalton either. So
I'm with you. We agree.
So all I'm saying, though, is I think there's value.
Give me Baker Mayfield for a year and draft Hendon Hooker, and then here's the scenario.
I'm not opposed to that either. I'm not opposed to that.
Atlanta. Yeah. They sign Marcus Mariota. They draft Desmond Ridder. Mariota starts 13 games. By the end, they're like, get the fuck out of here. The kid's ready. Now Desmond Ridder's the guy. They're going to roll with him. Let's see. Maybe he's Jalen Hurts. Second-round pick who becomes a dude. Maybe. Or maybe he sucks. Maybe he sucks. But either way, your potential ceiling is higher because of the unknown at this point than what you know with 33-year-old Derek Carr, who's on the back. You know what Derek Carr is right now? Derek Carr right now is what Andy Dalton was when Cincinnati kicked him to the curb.
Isn't Derek Carr, how old is Derek Carr? He's 33?
He's 32. And this is they're
31. He's 31.
By the time the season starts, he'll be 32.
Yeah, but he's 31 now.
The final year. Look up Derek Carr's stats this year.
They were bad last year. His stats were bad last year.
Just look them
up. No, I know.
Me
and Jacob played this game.
No, listen, I'm not. No. Just pull them up, please, so we can go side by side.
Okay.
Because I have said that I believe Derek Carr right now is Andy Dalton, his final year in Cincinnati. 9 seasons, and by the time he got to the last year, Andy Dalton's final season in Cincinnati, 34-94 passing. What was Derek Carr this year?
Hold on. My shit is fucking up. Okay, here we go. Okay. What'd you say he was?
34-94.
What are you talking about? Yards?
Yards passing.
Yeah, 35-22.
Like within 50 fucking yards.
Yeah.
Passing. Touchdowns.
24-14 here.
16 and 14. They're the same fucking guy. They're the same fucking guy.
So I think the difference
then what happened
would
was
be
Cincinnati realized we're kicking you to the curb. We're not winning with you. And then 3 consecutive years he's with 3 different teams. He went to Dallas, to Chicago, to New Orleans, and he sucks at all 3. Like he's done.
So
Derek Carr
is done. But there is no. Time out. Though you're trying to make this sound 1-to-1, Matt, but it's really not for a couple of key reasons. Like first off, again, this franchise made the playoffs 7 times in a row, won the AFC North a few times. This franchise, on the whole, was a goddamn joke. No defensive support, all the special teams, constant coaching turnover.
In 2019 or 2022, he had Jacobs at running back. He's thrown to Devontae Adams. Like they actually had.
They should have stuck with Rich Bisaccia.
Should have.
They fucked up and going with Josh McDaniel. Also, the Devontae Adams thing is weird because it actually made Derek Carr worse, which sounds fucking dumb. But if you actually look at the numbers, he over-targeted Adams, and they underproduced. He had like one of the lowest catch rates in the entire NFL.
I got a Nike notification.
Get those Panda Green Kool-Aid Ectoplasma dunks. Those Ecto.
I'm a little bummed, dude.
Dunks.
When I was in Napa, I set my alarm 2 days because of the 2-hour time change. I set my alarm 2 days to wake up.
For what time in the morning?
6:59.
Oh my god, that's not awful, but that's
it wasn't terrible. But honestly,
with a chance to sleep in, waking up at 6:59 is fucking awful.
Bro, my body clock never changed. I was up at 4 every day in Napa. I was up at 4. I was just up, just laying in bed, staring at the ceiling, so I didn't wake up Erica. But anyway, they had the Adobe dunks and they had the Wolf Gray dunks I wanted. I didn't get either.
Fuck!
I'm pissed about it, dude. Like I hate
the Adobe dunks.
But I am pissed about it because it's like I'm trying to give you my money to buy your product, and it's not like they're artificially suppressing their supply.
What about the Pueblo dunks?
You can go make more fucking dunks.
The model and Dob dunks.
I don't care how many people have them. Like, why are you suppressing supply? I'm trying to give you money for your shit. Take my money.
Forced scarcity.
That is what's a
hell of a thing.
It sucks.
Welcome to the collection.
And I'm not paying.
Welcome to literally everything that involves collecting ever, right?
But the difference is, like, if it's old shit, then I get it. You don't know shit's valuable at the time.
Yeah, but even that, I mean, that's NFTs. NFTs are literally made scarce just so people give a fuck about them.
But that's only if people give a fuck.
Yeah, for sure.
So time will tell if someone gives a fuck about your NFT.
All I'm saying is that this is just like, this is a tale as old as time. People being like, hey, there's not a lot of this shit, so you better fucking buy it.
But so like whiskey. I love whiskey.
Yeah.
But the thing is, I love Weller 12. The problem with Weller 12 is if you want to make more of it this year, you got to put it in a barrel and let it sit for 12 fucking years.
Yeah, so that's not even necessarily
just create more. These are fucking shoes.
So that's not even necessarily for scarcity, right? That's not that. This is for scarcity.
This is for scarcity.
Yeah, you see that. Bro, we got fucking Apple and all these cell phone companies doing planned obsolescence. They've been doing it for decades, where they literally make your shit worse so you have to buy new ones. Like
cars.
We lost the consumer battle a long time ago, okay? Shout out Europe for getting Apple to put USB-C chargers in their phone. Let's fucking go, dude.
And car companies like we're gonna bend the light fixture a little bit, make it a little sleeker, so we have to get the 2023 models in. Let's blow out the 22s to get the 23s.
I mean, yes, it's the way of the road, Bubs. Okay, so here's my only thing on Derek Carr and Andy Dalton. That comparison makes a lot of sense in a lot of ways. The only thing that if I was to play devil's advocate and counter-argue, maybe that Andy Dalton was in a much better situation if you just look at team success and franchise stability. Now, I'm not saying the Bengals were a great situation, right? Because they didn't invest. Marvin Lewis as a head coach was good, not great. There are some infamous stories about Bengal discipline that are kind of insane when you hear about them. But I don't there's a thought process out there, Matt, that Derek Carr has been held back by the Raiders for the majority of his career, and that maybe he can be that guy a couple of years ago that went 10-7 and threw for 4,800 yards. That was just a season before last year with Rich Versace and company. That maybe he can be that guy again. I believe in winning. I believe in building off of winning culture. I don't believe in trying to do the Philly process tank turnaround, and so no, I would go with Carr depending on the deal. 2 years commitment, I'm into. 3 years, I'm not. And then if not, go with Baker, draft Young, or go with Carr and draft Young. That's what I would want to do.
I'm not saying tank turnaround. I'm saying tank.
But that's the fire you're playing with if you're going to commit to a rookie quarterback.
You could lose.
Who's not in the top 10.
But you could lose. I mean, Peyton Manning was number 1 overall pick. They went 3-13 his rookie year.
No, I know there's outliers, but I'm saying NFL heads think like Mickey Loomis and fucking Jeff Ireland have talked about how they only think you can get top quarterbacks in the top 5, basically. They're on record.
The bigger problem is a Derek Carr deal further perpetuates your salary cap bullshit issues. And the only way you ever get out of that is by the Jalen Hurts situation. Jalen Hurts signed a 4-year, $6 million contract. The dude damn near won an MVP this year, got his team to a Super Bowl. He was paid the same fucking amount as Traquan Smith.
No, I know, but
that's how you fix your cap bullshit.
But that's easy to point out and be like, we need to do that. But you're saying we need to hit on an outlier.
I get it, but is it
of course?
But it's no different.
That's what Alvin Kamara was for years.
It's no different than the risk you take with a first-round draft pick at quarterback. Like we did this the other day. We looked at the last decade of quarterbacks taken in round 1, and we would consider 1/3 of them a success, like a hit.
That makes sense.
That's first rounders. So of course, every quarterback succeeding is an outlier. Look at how many truly
but it goes okay, exactly. But then,
you can minimize
that's
risk.
First round ones doing that. Then what happens when you go to second, third, fourth?
I understand.
There's a million Ian Books and Garrett Graysons floating out.
I understand that, and I'm not saying. And maybe you find a Kirk Cousins, maybe you find a Dak Prescott, maybe you find a Tom Brady, maybe you find a fucking Iowa State Brock Purdy. Those are outliers. I get it.
We'll see what happens with Brock, but yes,
I get it, and I agree with you there. But the point is, you'll never find that guy if you're not taking your swing.
Yeah, so what
you keep doing is perpetuating the bullshit you're doing right now, which was win now because we have Drew Brees. That was fine because you had Drew Brees. Now you don't, and you're still doing the same bullshit, and you're not going to be a playoff team.
I don't want to lose. I'd rather go 10-7, get bounced in the first round, than go 4-13. Just don't want to do it, dude. Don't want to do it. You have too much shitty history in your franchise past where if you go 4-13, then it's, here we go again. Post Sean Payton, same old Saints. Like, let the Broncos win and the Saints go 4-13, and everybody will be saying that Sean Payton and maybe he did lift up a horrible franchise that can't get out of its way, that can't find consistent success, in a city that can't get out of its way, that can't find consistent success. Like, there's real insecurity about, can the Saints be good outside of the Peyton Brees era? And so I don't want to lose. I want to prove that you can be a consistent, legitimate, Steeler-like NFL. Like, I'll take Mike Tomlin's 7,009-7, 8-8 years in a row.
Daniel Blunt said, Matt, the cap will rise. But don't you understand, like, this is basic economics. When your spending habits are what they are, it doesn't matter how much money you make, you're going to keep fucking spending money. That's the same thing here. You give them more money, they're not going to fucking save it. They're going to just go out and spend it again. Like, they're not going to rectify because these are their spending habits. Like, it's like people say, well, like, if you're in a massive amount of debt, I got to go make more money and get out of debt. Bullshit. You make more money, you're just going to keep spending more money. That's basic human economics. That's what the Saints are. So it's not like it's not about, the cap will rise, so that'll rectify it. Bullshit. The cap rises, they're going to spend more money. The only way is if they do what Seattle did when they had Russell Wilson on a third-round rookie deal. What Dallas was able to do when they had Dak on a fourth-round rookie deal.
Mahomes did change this, though. Mahomes is the first quarterback to have that massive deal and win the Super Bowl. Now, it is Patrick Mahomes, so he's an outlier in himself.
But I don't care if you have to pay a giant contract to a great quarterback because, dude, look at everybody they lost on this Chiefs team.
Yeah.
They took away Tyreek Hill.
Exactly.
And they still fucking won.
No, but it is of note, though, because this is the first time.
But he's Patrick Mahomes.
No, but I know, but this is also, yeah, exactly. I know, I feel you. But this is the first time that interpret how you want. This is the first time that a quarterback that took up that percentage of the cap won the Super Bowl.
But I'm fine with that because he's Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
If the Saints had the option to get that guy, I'd be fine with it. But we're talking about Derek Carr.
Well, he's not going to take up. Patrick Mahomes taking up $50 million.
I get it, but you're also $50 million over the cap, and you're fucking yourself by restructuring everybody again and just digging the hole deeper.
But like all of the Saints' planning is already accounting for the cap to rise. So I agree that the cap will rise point doesn't make any sense because like that's what Kai Harley is formulating. I mean, what would you do with the extra money though?
What do you mean? Like actually be competitive in free agency?
But then you just talked about really not wanting to win now to be competitive in free agency. You have to commit to long-term financial deals. You're going to put yourself in the exact same situation.
Eventually, whenever it makes sense financially to do it.
It's just a dangerous game, man. I want to win. I want to go 10-7.
I want to win as well.
Derek Carr makes you 10-7, and you win in the NFC South.
You're not 10-7 with Derek Carr this year.
You are 10-7 with Derek Carr this year.
Okay, I'll bet. We'll make that bet. Okay, we'll make that bet. If they
you got to give me odds though, because like Vegas is going to be far off from 10-7, you fucker, and you know it.
And so you're going to sit here and say, they're 10-7.
Yeah.
Well, then make a fucking bet. Have some nuts. Put them on the table.
Yeah, give me odds.
Fuck you.
Yeah.
Odds.
If I'm wrong, I'll give you 100, and if I'm right, you give me 150.
You fucking question.
That's not fair.
Fine.
You fucking bitch.
They're not going to get Derek Carr anyway. He don't want to come to New Orleans. He's going to go to fucking the Jets or Carolina or some shit.
Carolina don't want him. DA's getting the band back together, okay? And you know what else DA loves?
If he wanted to come to New Orleans, he would have accepted a fucking trade to New Orleans.
He thought the money was too low because he thought he'd get more, and he's not getting more. So now they're saying that he's prioritizing fit.
You know what this is, bro? I said this on AFR today. This is 06 all over again. Sean Payton wanted to go to Green Bay. They picked Mike McCarthy. Drew Brees wanted to go to Miami. They picked, well, we know what happened with Dante because of the shoulder. But and it worked out here, and maybe it would with Carr, but it's the same thing. Like, the Saints are his backup plan. The Saints are his side piece. He does not want to be in New Orleans. If he did, it would be done. He's looking. He's getting older. He knows the Saints roster is shit. He wants to go somewhere that he can win.
He wants to go to the Jets.
The Jets roster is better than the Saints roster.
I agree. But the Jets have already told him he's waiting. I know. I agree with you. But just to tell the people, for whatever it's worth, the reporting that has been put out today is a bit at odds with that. Because my understanding was that Derek Carr was like, okay, I want Jets first, Saints second, and the Jets are like, okay, we want Aaron Rodgers first, you second, and that was the dynamics. There's been a lot of reporting that it says, no, the Saints and Carr are close or whatever. So I'm,
blah,
whatever. But I'm into it at 25 to 30 mil, 2 years commitment. I'm into it.
Yates has the Saints having Baker Mayfield as their starter next year.
I'm cool with that.
And Derek Carr in Carolina.
He's meeting with Carolina tomorrow, I think. I've read, again, it's smoke screen season, so be careful, right? But I've read reports that Carolina doesn't think Derek Carr's worth that money. But that's when that money was
not worth that money.
No, but that's when that money was $35 million plus. 25 to 30 mil is not a lot on a quarterback, dude. Not on a playoff quarterback. It's not a lot on a playoff quarterback.
Not a shitty one like Derek Carr.
It's really not. He's all right, dude. We'll see. We'll see what happens if Derek Carr gets into a better situation. I think he's going to prove a lot of people wrong. I think he's actually going to ball out.
All right, questions. Let's go.
Ask Scone T, Saints quarterback this season. Who is it?
What was it?
Saints quarterback this season. Who is it?
All right.
Kevin Rossolo. I think it's Derek Carr.
I don't think they signed Derek Carr.
Ask
I hope they don't sign Derek Carr.
What are the chances Malik Neighbors gets a Bowie,
Lamar Jackson
gets a Bowie NIL deal? Lamar Jackson to Atlanta is scary. That would
Lamar
not
Jackson's
make me
going to
happy.
be in Baltimore. He's saying Bowie.
What'd I say?
Bowie.
Oh, like David?
He's making a gun joke, and that's not funny.
Oh, I'm not caught up on what happened with Malik Neighbors. Oh, the Mardi Gras thing.
Yeah.
Goddamn you, Alex, you son of a bitch. Ask Scone T, what is your thoughts on LSU baseball through 8 games? Do y'all agree with Jay's lineup decision so far? I can't comment on lineup decisions because I've only watched the Iowa and Texas games. But I'll be damned if that fucking Texas game wasn't a ton of fun to watch last night. First magic moment of the season, thanks to the Micah Baskerville of baseball, Gavin Dugas. Keep trying to say he's not going to start. Keep trying to say he's going to replace, and all my guy does is keep balling out.
I'm curious to see if they keep Joe Bear in the 3-hole. His problem last year was he had 149 at-bats. He struck out 50 times. He literally struck out 1 out of every 3 at-bats. If you're going to bat behind Dylan Cruz, you have to be able to protect Dylan Cruz. Last night in the 7th, they intentionally walked Dylan Cruz on 4 pitches, and then Joe Bear struck out with 2 outs. And the
whole reason why Dugas saw that pitch was because Cruz was on deck, right?
So I'm good with Dugas leading off. I love having someone who can leave the yard in the leadoff spot. I love Dylan Cruz in the 2-hole, but I have to have someone who can protect him behind him.
Yeah, you got to.
And so I would say I like Trey Morgan maybe in the 3-hole, but I want Joe Bear in my lineup. I think they're super talented and awesome. And eventually what'll happen is Tommy White will go back to 3rd, Ben Napolt will go to the bench, Trey Morgan will go back to 1st, and Bear Jones will DH. And I think that's your best lineup. And then Kling goes into the outfield. I think it's your best lineup.
Nathan Wedlin, our UK friend, said, Ask Scone T, when I come to New Orleans, what places do I need to visit apart from Olive Twist? Olive or Twist, actually in Baton Rouge. But, Matt, give him one New Orleans place, and I'll give him one New Orleans place.
Are we just talking restaurants?
He just said what place do I need to visit. I'll go with the bar. I'm gonna give him a bar. I would say go to...
That's such a hard question.
The Bayou Beer Garden. I think it's in Mid-City, so you're going to get off the beaten path a bit. Now, granted, I'm just pulling from my 20s, right? When I was living in New Orleans, my mid to later 20s, and I was loving it. And I don't know if it's super cool anymore. It's definitely my favorite place back in the day. But it's in Mid-City. It's got an incredible backyard. It's an awesome place to watch the Saints game. Some of the best crawfish, if not the best crawfish that I've ever had when Big Andy's cooking them. He's probably not still cooking them. But go to Bayou Beer Garden. It's a great local spot where not going to be like super touristy.
All right, a local spot, I'll tell you, go eat at Liuz's.
Yeah, hell yeah. That's right by Bayou Beer Garden, actually.
On Bienville?
Yeah, you walk past Liuz's to get to Bayou Beer Garden.
I haven't been to Bayou Beer Garden. But Liuz's is closed on Mondays, too, so be mindful of that.
Liuz's serves him cold beers,
cold
glasses.
in the fishbowl mug. Get the lasagna. And then But here's the thing with someone like that who's coming to town who maybe has never been, you have to do something that feels New Orleans.
Yeah,
so I would say
but I
would
figure
say
he's going to find his way there anyway.
Okay,
is what I'm saying.
I would say then the other one I would tell you would be Redfish Grill on Bourbon Street. It's part of the Brennan's family. The food is magnificent. It feels like New Orleans, but not too touristy. It's great. That's what I would tell you.
And then also, if you do want to go something that's more in the fringe court of Bourbon Street, Gold Mine. If you want to go dance late night, like midnight past, the Gold Mine is fucking goated, dude. It's where the flaming Dr. Pepper was literally invented.
Oh my god!
I think I lost my card after a decade, but I used to be a Gold Mine VIP.
The Gold Mine.
Not to brag, y'all. Not to brag, but the Gold Mine's incredible.
Oh my god!
Ask Scone T, what is true friendship? I think true friendship is when you feel wholly comfortable just kicking it with that person and not having to say anything, and it doesn't really matter.
True friendship is you're in a Mexican jail and you have one phone call. Who do you call and you know they will be in Mexico to get you out?
That's not bad.
That's true friendship.
Ask
and do you want to know? I have two. I have two in my life.
Friends?
I have two.
You have true friends? Two true friends?
Well, like my dad, of course. You know what I mean? But outside of like family. Two people in this world. I know for a fact, if shit gets real, I'm in Mexico, I'm in a fucking jail, I got one fucking phone call, and I need someone to come get me, and I know this motherfucker is coming. Like I'm not, like if I waste this phone call, I'm spending the rest of my life in jail in Mexico. I got two people.
When I was...
You know one of them.
Do you want to say who it is on air?
Of course.
Oh, okay. Who are we talking about then? I didn't know. I didn't think you want to say it.
One of them is Dr. Ski Batansky.
That's a great name.
Frank Anthony Batansky III, Ski.
Frank.
My best friend.
Hey, Frankie Anthony Batansky. That's the third.
His number two daughter. Ridiculous. His number two daughter, Ivy, is my godchild. And he and I are going to see Guns N' Roses at Minute Maid in September. I'm fired up about that.
Nice. Hell yeah.
If I call Ski, he's fucking there, no doubt. And the other is Richard Condon.
What?
No fucking doubt. No doubt in my mind. I would probably call Condon before I'd call Ski.
Damn. Okay, dude.
If I'm in a Mexican jail, I say, Rich, I need you, bro. He's there. I'm telling you.
I was once in an East Baton.
Call him right now.
I was once in an East Baton Rouge jail, and I called my best friend of my entire life, Ian, who lived in Georgia at the time, and I said, "Hey, I'm in jail. Get me out. Don't tell my parents." And then hung up. He obviously had to tell my parents, but he did get me out of jail eventually, which was
good.
Which was nice.
Good. Condon. Richard Condon. I've already been tasked with eulogizing Condon. He has made sure that he has let his entire family know that I am his eulogist. And
urologist. Eulogist? That's funny, eulogist.
And I'm one of the pallbearers.
Damn.
So he's got me, he's got his son Ryan, and he needs 4 more.
Good luck.
That's his joke, bro.
Ask Scone T, what are your thoughts on the new baseball rule? Baseball timing rules.
Love it.
Yeah, I think it's great. Nathan wants to come in time for Saints Giants consecutive fun. Okay, Chuck says, T-Bob, to redeem your Star Wars cred, how many forms of communication is CP3O fluent in?
C3PO.
That's what I said. What did I say? CP3O?
Yeah, you did. That old-fashioned hitting you, bro. Or is it the wine?
I mean, I'm just thinking about fucking Uncle Owen and C-3PO talking about, like,
Googleizer.
Evaporators is like a second language to me.
That's so good. Googleizer.
What? Yeah, you Googleizer.
You think I don't know what a Googly is? I wasn't even thinking about
Googly. I forgot about that.
You don't think I know what a Googly is? I mean, you Googleizer.
8 billion. I'm saying 8 billion on C3PO. God damn it. Now I'm going to have to look this up.
Are we done?
Yeah,
hey,
hold on.
We're at Oliver Twist. You should absolutely come here.
6 million. God fucking damn it.
I guess we're done. We're done.